All right, everybody, welcome back to the deep dive. You ready for this? Today we are going deep on something pretty different. We've got a snippet from a YouTube transcript, and on the surface it's just a bunch of words and sounds that don't seem to make much sense at all. The video is called KAYAWOTO feat. Private Commando, clip official, uploaded by San Remy, and the excerpt we're looking at is, well, let's just say it leaves us with more questions than answers.
Yeah, that's the fun part, isn't it? I mean, it's easy to just brush something aside when it seems like nonsense, but I think the real challenge and the real reward comes from digging deeper, trying to understand what we're looking at, maybe even finding meaning where it seems like there isn't any.
Exactly. So that's exactly what we're going to try to do today. So to start, can you read this excerpt for us? And listeners, get ready for this one because it's a wild ride.
Okay, so the excerpt is Nun Commando 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 XNG INGE ara nang namabanang Commando 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 Command.
What? Okay, so just hearing that, what are your first impressions? What jumps out at you?
Definitely the repetition, the word commando. It's repeated over and over again. It's almost like a mantra or something. It gives this feeling of like intense energy or maybe even aggression.
Yeah.
And then all the vowel sounds to almost like a chant drawing you in. It's interesting how even if we don't know what the words mean, we can still feel like there's a purpose behind them. There's a feeling they convey.
Yeah, for sure. It really does get under your skin, doesn't it? It makes me think of like experimental poetry, like sound poetry or daddyism, where the meaning of the words isn't as important as the sounds themselves.
Oh, that's a good point. Like Kurt Schwitter's Ursinate, that sound poem made of just nonsense syllables, but it creates the sonic landscape. Or the Futurists, they wanted to break all the rules of language to reflect how fast and chaotic modern life was becoming.
Right. So are we seeing this YouTube snippet as like a form of art then?
It could be, for sure, but without seeing the full video, it's hard to say, It's like if you only read a few lines from a Shakespearean sonnet, you might miss the whole love story, the heartbreak, the beauty of all the words. It's the same here. We don't have the visuals, the music, the people performing. All that stuff adds to the meaning.
I see what you mean. It's like we're trying to solve a puzzle, but we only have a few pieces. We can kind of see what the bigger picture might be, but we're missing key parts.
Exactly. And that's what makes this so interesting. We have to fill in the blanks ourselves, come up with our own ideas of what it all means. Maybe commando being repeated like that is supposed to be ironic, like a commentary on the military or pop culture. Or maybe it comes from a language or dialect that we just don't know about. There are so many possibilities.
That's so true. It reminds us that meaning isn't always straightforward, and what seems like nonsense to us might have a deep cultural meaning for someone else.
Definitely. It's a good reminder that we should try to understand new things with curiosity instead of judging them right away. We should ask questions, explore different perspectives, and be open to the idea that there might be more to something than we initially thought.
That's a great point, especially now when we're bombarded with information from everywhere. It's easy to just skim the surface and miss the deeper meaning.
Exactly. And sometimes the things that seem the most confusing or even ridiculous can lead to the most fascinating discoveries.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So to everyone listening, the next time you run into something that seems weird or doesn't make sense, take a second to think about it, consider where it came from, and ask yourself, what am I missing? You never know what amazing things you might find.
You never know.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive, folks. We'll see you next time.
See you then.